Hey, audit and fraud friends and family. I got a question for you. Have you ever lost a Lamborghini? Well, if so, never mind. Nobody has ever lost a Lamborghini. Have you ever lost your car unintentionally? Sure, we all have. All right, if that's you, tune in this week. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right, hey, friends, listen. Many of you know that one thing that I do is I train auditors on how to become awesome. Yes, I am an audit trainer. And I hear occasionally, well, how good are you? And I could just sit here and tell you, well, I'm pretty good, but I'm not going to do that. How about I let you hear from some of my satisfied clients?
Okay.
So what did you think of today's training?
It was great.
It's one of the best I've ever seen.
Who would you refer Robert to?
Definitely other IIA chapters.
And I got to give a special shout out to the Tucson chapter and to the Phoenix chapter. I just came back from both of those chapters. We had a fantastic time. So if you guys are listening, thanks for having me. We had a great time. And without further ado, today, let's bring on our special guest.
Hey.
So,
Hey, everyone.
What's happening, guys?
It's about time.
So I know you guys are used to seeing. I know you all are used to seeing me and Christine, but who is this down here at the bottom? Like, who are you?
I'm someone who escaped this crazy nonsense weather yesterday that we had in Houston. Oh my gosh, it was really, really wild, like totally wild. So I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Don't mind me. Had to get out, get the kids, and just get out of the house and staying with a friend. So no power, nothing. It's just crazy weather and no warning whatsoever. It was just the most bizarre experience. Like all of a sudden at 6:20 p.m. like the alarm started going off. I'm like, a tornado. We're like, what? No way. They told us about hail last week and nothing happened. Like, so whatever, and then you hear this wind and you're like, oh wait, this does sound weird and this does sound different. So woo.
Oh wow.
That was one crazy one. Yes. But good to see everyone. Yes, good to see everyone. Robert, you're good looking, but I'm sorry, you're no match to Christina. So let's stop.
As I'm in my t-shirt and ponytail too.
Yeah. Well, that's your excuse.
Well, I can't do a ponytail, so I mean,
Don't be jealous. It's okay. It's okay.
All right, so listen. Let me ask you all a question. What's your favorite car that you've ever had? Out of all the cars you've owned, well, let's just say as a young adult, anywhere from 16 to 24, what's the favorite car you've ever had?
Go ahead, Galena.
So my favorite car was my very, very first car. So as you know, I'm not from the United States. So I came here from Belarus and as a student. So I had to learn everything. When you talk about every single system out there, educational system, the social security, a whole 9 yards, the language system. Like when people say, what's up? You're looking up and you're like, it's a sky, so it could just, learning everything. And so my first car was definitely my baby, my absolute baby. It was a Nissan. I want to say it was 240, something like that. It did not have AC in Houston.
Oops. Sorry. Was it a Nissan 240 SX?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I gotta look at what that is.
Oh
Probably very,
yeah.
oh yeah.
That was a beautiful vehicle.
Very
Yep.
nice.
That
Yeah, very, very nice. And no
yeah.
AC, but it,
No AC though. That had to be bad, huh?
you know, when you're young and this is your first car and you're like, yes,
All right, all right. So what about you, Christine? What was your all-time most favorite car?
It was my second one, and I was probably a little impartial because I bought it, but I think it was a Dodge Neon with a dual overhead cam, and it was a stick shift 2-door.
Wow.
Ooh,
My first 3 cars I had were all manual.
Wow.
nice,
You
nice.
go, girl. Yes.
I would love to have one now, but I think it's more expensive to order it because now you have to like pre-order them as manuals.
Yep,
Oh,
you do. You
So
do. All
I'm
right,
not going to pay extra to do more work.
so, so for those of you listening, what was your favorite car growing up? Your favorite car, your all-time most favorite car. So I'm going to tell you my all-time most favorite car in the entire world. I had a Nissan 200SX and it was a 5-speed.
whoa.
It was the second car I'd ever owned, and I bought it with my own money. It had the little spoiler in the back. I had the woofers in the back, so I would drive down the street and harass the neighborhood.
I mean, and those were nice cars back then. Like now I'm looking it up and I'm going, man, those are like they're sporty cars, but not as cool as what we've got now.
Yeah, not as cool as what we have now, but it was really, really cool. Now, listen.
We're just not as cool now, you guys.
Yeah, you got that right. So now, Stephanie said that she had a manual Honda Civic EX
Oh,
dark green.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Nice.
Driving
yeah,
manual. Heck yeah. Huge
yep.
respect. Absolutely.
Oh, Galena, you could do it.
No.
When you stall out in the middle of an intersection, you learn real fast.
Yep, absolutely. You really do.
True, true.
You learn extremely fast. So look, let me show you our Galena's car then. This thing, I remember it too. That's why I was like, was it the 240? These were some nice vehicles. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the 240 that Galena had. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Why am I?
Mm,
What color was yours, Galena?
it was black.
Ah, ooh. So now, let me show you the 200SX. Oh, wait, wrong tab. So I had the nice 200SX.
Ooh.
Nice 5-speed. Man, it could go too.
Mm.
Huh. So let me ask you all another question. Have you ever had a car stolen? Has anyone ever stolen your car before?
No. No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, that's good. Now Marsha is saying that her favorite
Mm.
car was a Mitsubishi Mirage. I remember those. Oh, was it a manual, Marsha? Was it a manual? Now Stephanie is saying she had to sell her car because her ex couldn't drive it.
Wow.
Well, I mean, so you got rid of him and the car? Like that's Marsha saying yes, it was a manual. Okay, so neither of you have ever had a car stolen. Wait a minute now. Shree is here on YouTube, and Shree said she's had a car stolen before. Do tell, Shree. What kind of car? Somebody stole? What happened? Like when did this happen? So depending on where you live in the U.S., cars are stolen quite a bit. So I've got a buddy that lives in Nassau in the Bahamas. And when I was younger, I would go see him quite a bit. And he would tell me oftentimes people would steal cars, especially from Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and then they would ship them over to the Bahamas. Um, and it was so crazy because right after we had the conversation, I'd come back to the States and he called me and he was like, "Hey man, somebody stole my car."
I don't know what I would do.
I would cry.
I think I would think I parked it in a place that I didn't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think that would be my first reaction too. Disbelief. You're looking around like maybe I parked it somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, Marsha is saying her car was stolen right at her front door in a gated community when she was in Jamaica. Wow.
Ooh. Ooh.
Why do I feel like that's a
And now,
problem in
yeah,
Jamaica?
that's a huge problem. But Shree has an even worse problem. Says her ex-husband stole her car and then he cut all the wiring out.
Sheree, sounds like you've upgraded since then. I'm happy for you. On all levels.
Mm, yeah.
That's a tough experience. That's a really tough experience. Oh my.
That's some real psycho behavior there.
Uh-huh.
I've always wondered when you steal a car, like how do you presume to get away with it? I know that there are chop shops. Believe me, I know that there are chop shops. And I understand that you can repaint a car. Now, if you just repaint it, you possibly could get caught because cars have numbers on them that identify where they are. But if you chop it up, you may not be able to find that car ever again. As a matter of fact, one of my buddies, I was talking to him 2 days ago, and he was like, "Man, somebody stole my car."
2 days ago.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I didn't tell him that this was going to be the topic of today's show. I had already found this story, and we were just talking, and I was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He said, "Somebody stole my car." It's like, "Wait, what?" And because of where he lives, I'm really not that surprised. But
Mhm.
I often wonder, what are people thinking when they steal cars? But also, the person who has their car stolen, what are they thinking? So, like Marsha, what were you thinking when your car got stolen? What was the first thought? Because I'm with you, Christine. I'd be thinking maybe I parked it in some other place.
And then I'd be really mad. Like, there'd probably be words coming out of my mouth that even my husband would be surprised. Because I would be seriously angry at this person. And it's like, I wouldn't even be mad that my car was gone because I have insurance. It's going to be covered. I would be mad because of the inconvenience.
Right.
True.
That is how it would affect me.
And then you start thinking, what's in the glove compartment? What did I leave? What kind of documents are there? What else can they take? Does this mean I have to go and freeze my report, my credit? I mean, like, it's just like,
Yeah.
Your home address, where
Yeah.
you live.
Oh, wait, do you have like a manual, right, of what to do in case this happens?
Ooh.
There
You know that?
you go.
Yeah. You should, because think about the person who has paid their car off and it's been paid off for quite some time, and it's an older vehicle and they don't
Mhm.
want a new one, and now they would have to get a new one because the replacement value from the insurance company definitely would not cover a
Right.
new car.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I say I would cry, because I drive an older vehicle. It doesn't have that many miles on it because I don't drive. I don't go anywhere. And I plan on keeping her until she drops.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Whew.
Now, Marsha's saying she said, "What the hell?" Her husband sat at the front door and didn't even realize the car was missing. Wait a minute. Okay.
Wow.
Maybe he thought that you were at the grocery store or something, or you were. Oh, So
Yeah.
now I will tell you, when I was younger, um, I grew up in a pretty interesting neighborhood, and when I say interesting, kind of rough. Um, and I had a couple friends who were involved in, let's just say, alternative jobs. And one of my buddies, well, one of my old friends, he stole a car. He stole a car. And after he stole the car, he gave it to another friend. Now, these were old neighborhood friends, and you can't necessarily choose the neighborhood you grow up in, right? And he told the second friend, he said, listen, do not drive this car in certain areas of town. He's like, well, why? He said, you know why. So this friend then gave the car to his girlfriend, who then drove it on a part of town he probably shouldn't have driven it in. They shouldn't have stole it to begin with, but okay, that's a whole nother story altogether. The girlfriend gets stopped by the police. The girlfriend tells on her boyfriend, my friend,
Yeah.
and he spends a little bit of time in the juvenile detention facility. So I asked him, why in the world did you, like, why? And this is going to be the craziest answer you've ever heard.
Mm.
He said, I just wanted to go for a joyride.
It's an expensive joyride.
Right?
Okay.
How long did he have it for?
That I don't know. Because everything I just told you all, I didn't know about until after the fact. Because he was gone for like 6-8 months. And I was like, where's Chris? And and everybody told me the story. And then when he got out, I was like, dude, why? Like, why? Thankfully, he's turned his life around. He's doing fine now. He's doing good.
Good.
So
Still with the same girl?
Out of all the details, Glee.
Hey, she instructions very well, so I'm just curious, how they work
yeah,
out.
yeah. So so this got me thinking, right? When cars get stolen, there are a few ways that you can identify a car, right? You can identify it based on the VIN number.
Yep.
And your VIN number is simply your vehicle identification number. We use them in the US, they use them in Canada. I don't know what other countries possibly use them. But if you don't know where your VIN number is, you should probably look for it. Now, look, it's usually under the hood, front back of the engine, driver's side interior dash, front end frame, or the driver's side door. You can open your door and you can look right there and you'll see your VIN number. But that's how your vehicle gets identified. And you should probably write your VIN number down somewhere just in case your car gets stolen, although it's already on file with the state wherever you file your tag for your car. But you should probably write your VIN number down.
Unless you have insurance, then it should be listed on your insurance documents.
There you go. Which most people should have insurance because it's required in most states, right? In all states, I think. Yeah.
Here. You have to at least have liability.
True. Very true. So the reason that we're bringing this up today is because in today's story, a young lady has been arrested after the high-end bust of the bust of a high-end chop shop. In other words, they were stealing cars and stripping them down for parts. They're estimating that it was a $3.3 million title fraud scheme. Now, she was arrested on 18 counts of title fraud and official misconduct, but the way she did it is what's really, really interesting, and the types of cars that she was doing it to. So So Marsha says it's a VIN number. It's called a chassis number in Jamaica. Okay. So here's what this young lady was doing because of her position and where she worked. She was taking cars that had been destroyed and totaled and taking their VIN numbers and selling them to alleged criminals for about $800 to $1,000. Those criminals were then taking those VIN numbers and putting them on stolen vehicles. Some of the stolen vehicles included a 2022 Lamborghini Urus, a 2023 Aston Martin. Wow, the Superleggera too, a 2021 Mercedes-Benz G550.
Mm.
They also found fraudulent VINs on 2 other vehicles as well. So what do you guys think?
I think she sold herself short. I mean, she was getting 18,000. She made 18,000 on 3.3 million.
Yeah.
Bad return.
Ooh.
My,
I mean,
Oh.
you know, cars that were involved, they're really pricey cars. So I don't know. And she was working for a county, but her title was different. So she wasn't necessarily. It's not like she was actually working for the county. I looked up; it was registered agent, right? So I think she was a registered agent. And what it is in some counties, in order to relieve Department DMV from a lot of paperwork, they would. What is it like? They would establish this. Like an individual can apply and become this agent in order to assist with processing the paperwork for cars. So it's a private company, it's a private individual, yet they do the job of an official, in official capacity, so to speak. So yeah, very interesting.
And at what point are they doing background checks on those agents?
It's a little bit like the requirements are not that stringent. Like you don't have the only thing is like you cannot be committed. You cannot be committed of crime of moral turpitude, and something else. Like it's very loosey, very loose.
Yeah. So she wasn't officially a state worker, but she was kind of like a contractor. Here's what makes me mad about this one. Because let's get to Marsha's statement or question. Did she put a VIN number of a Toyota on a Lambo or a Mercedes Benz? Now, here's what I'm thinking happened. And I might be wrong, but when these vehicles, the destroyed vehicles, the ones that were totaled and no longer in service, my speculation is she was somehow able to go into the system and change the make and model associated with that VIN and associate that VIN with the new vehicle. So whenever you pulled up that VIN, it would have, quote unquote, the right vehicle. Now that's what I'm assuming, because otherwise, why would you have a VIN number on a car if it could pull up the original vehicle? So this is why this makes me mad. It's the same thing we talk about almost every episode. Then it must be a segregation of duties and then a bad process. Because if you think about it, the person who's issuing a new car tag should not have access to actually change the VIN number in the system. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Those duties should be separated, or there should at least be some sort of exception report. And on top of that, if a VIN number is here, it should require some sort of special approval in order to change any of the details. Once a car is destroyed, a VIN number should be destroyed and never used again.
Yes, I'm with you. Why would you be reissuing VIN numbers to different cars?
Well, in a simple file maintenance report. So I can see some people would probably be like, when do you need to update a VIN number, right? Well, let's say 2 numbers were switched for some reason at some point between titling different states and stuff. Understandable. But if you would pull a maintenance report of anything that was changed in your system, I'm pretty sure like if the VIN stayed the same, but you're changing it from a 1992 Jeep Liberty to something like that, I would hope that would raise like flags and being like, what? But I also feel like, and people can correct me on this because it's been a while since I did consumer lending, I think the first 4 to 6 digits of a VIN number tell you the manufacturer.
Aha.
Hmm.
So
So,
like Ford vehicles will all start with like, or their Ford trucks will be like 1FT. Am I wrong in that? It's been a long time. They could have changed things.
the first digit is the country of manufacture. The second is the vehicle manufacturer. The third is the vehicle type division. And then this series here is the vehicle's brand, body style, engine size, and type model series. This is the model year with the security check digit. And then the vehicle's production number is last. So you are 100% correct. There is definitely a way to look at the VIN and tell the details of the vehicle.
So now you've got an actual automated process that should flag these and essentially not even allow you to change the VIN. If you're changing stuff like the model year, the vehicle manufacturer, and your brand and your body style.
Yeah, yeah. But let's be honest here. How difficult is it dealing with a lot of agencies? So I'll tell you guys a quick story. So I renewed my tag recently and I renewed it online. And I said, okay, they'll just mail it out. And I renewed it before the due date and all that other good stuff. And so the expiration date for it expired. And I was like, wait a minute, my tag never came in the mail. Where is it? So I called them and I say, listen, my tag never came in the mail. And they said, well, we mailed them. I said, okay, so how can we resolve this issue then? And she said, well, you can just come in and get a new one. And I said, well, can I just have another one mailed since the first one didn't make it? She said, well, no, you've got to come in because since you're getting a replacement, we're going to charge you $2. And I was like, no, I'm not getting a replacement. I'm getting the first one because I never got the first one.
But the script here says I got to charge you $2. Right. Do anything.
Yeah.
All these extra fees that we end up paying is because either the system was abused at some point, or you had that one person that had to get the replacement 5 times in 1 year. It's normally what happens.
Yeah. Probably so, but goodness. So now Marsha is saying the DMV should have a system where they can retire a VIN for a car that's totaled or destroyed, right?
Ah, yes. Very good. Yeah, very good comment.
Yeah, like I didn't think this one was that difficult. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about a young lady who used her position with, well, her position at work to issue fraudulent or real VIN numbers to individuals to put on vehicles that had been stolen, thus trying to legitimize those vehicles. And they were some fancy vehicles, I'm telling you. They're saying that the vehicles were estimated to be around $3.3 million in value. However, she did it to about 18 vehicles and collected about $800 to $1,000 per vehicle. So she made less than $20,000 and has been charged with 18 counts of title fraud and official misconduct.
Which kind of makes me wonder, and I don't know all the legal logistics behind it, or or legal things, but would this be a more had she been working for an actual DMV, would the offense be greater, or is it because she was like a contractor, so to speak? I'm curious if the offense is less, or I don't even know how that works, but
That's a good question, but I'm almost assuming that maybe they gave her the same charge because it says official misconduct.
Mm,
So official misconduct in doing business while working for the state as an
right.
employee or a contractor. But that I'm just guessing though, but I don't know. But yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it probably all depend on what she would sign for her employment contract.
Right. Yeah.
Or what their internal policies are for that specific. Because I'm guessing if she was working for that agency that's being contracted out has to agree to the same conduct that the state employees would be up to.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just
Now,
wondering how much.
here's the big thing that I'm wondering. Well, a couple things. I wonder what her salary was, because when you look at the amount of money she did it for, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a lot. And then I'm wondering, I was looking for what time period this covered. Um, because if she made like $20,000 in 1 month, then okay, yeah, that's a fair amount of money to be made in a month. But if she did it over a span of about a year,
Mhm.
and then you compare that to what she was currently making, if she had not done that over the long haul, obviously she would have made more. But then also, what was going on in her personal life? Like what happened? What
Right.
kind of help did she need, and who did she not reach out to? You know?
Yeah. It doesn't sound like she was going to Disney, or she took a Disney vacation. She was saving for a Disney vacation. We don't know. Robert, do you
Although she made, although
want
she
to
made me,
why are we talking about Disney, or why I brought up Disney?
yeah. Well, I was about to say, although nowadays you might need about $18,000 to go to Disney.
Yes.
Just saying.
That's true.
But now, some other things I wonder too, though, is the actual employees who work for that office. Is the system for them adequately controlled, and did maybe the error in controlling access to the system happen because this was a contractor, and possibly because they needed the overflow work, and somebody just set it up wrong for the contractor on accident? Or is this something that could still happen with the current employees for the organization?
Right. Right.
And it is technically a government agency. So we see how well their systems have controls built in.
True. True. So this was interesting. And then too, with the people that had their cars stolen, presumably now you get your car back, and there's no telling what kind of shape your car was in, especially if they actually did do some chopping at the chop shop. You know, if your car is not still intact.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know if I would chop up an Aston Martin. I mean, come, really?
If it happened to me, I'm guessing my insurance company already paid me out for it, and I replaced it or did whatever I did with it. So that's the insurance company's issue. They can do whatever they want with now their asset that they paid me out for. At least that's the way I would assume it would be.
Very true. If they've already been paid out, yeah.
I mean, do you think the insurance companies say, "Oh, it's been 12 months, we recovered your vehicle. Now you have to give us our insurance money back, and here's your vehicle"?
That's why I'm wondering the timing on it. Like, when did it happen? Did it happen before? Because I think at least they used to make you wait a certain period of time before they would pay you out. By the way, here's the lovely Aston Martin right here. Isn't that just beautiful? That's just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Yeah. It's interesting that they did recover those cars in the chop shop, because usually when, my understanding, just um, being from Russia and knowing how things operate over there, whenever you put a tag or a hit on a car, once that car is stolen, it usually takes very short amount of time for the parts to, or for the VIN to be switched and for the car to be out of the country, right? Because usually someone wants that specific car or something happened. So the turnaround between the steal and that car leaving the country or something happening to it is usually very short.
Okay.
You make a really good point. And let me take it a step further too. If your car is worth 500,000 to $1 million, why would you not have the most sophisticated tracking system on it that money can buy?
I think that's what I was wondering, or even some sort of anti-theft system that they can't. It's not like they can crawl under the vehicle and snip wires. I mean, I don't know how to steal a car, so if I sound stupid, it's probably why. But I guess that's my other thing. These aren't cheaper vehicles that are easy to get into. So how did they do that without alarming anybody?
Yeah. Again, that's kind of my point. If Apple can make AirTags very small, then surely you could put something in your vehicle. Now, Marsha is saying that there was a trailer load of cars that was recovered recently in the Middle East and Africa, all high-end cars. You know what's interesting with that too, though, is those may have been some of those cars that were flooded over in Dubai,
Mm.
because you might start to see those on the black market now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Marsha says after purchasing an expensive car, there's no money left to purchase an anti-theft device. And Janine, thank you for joining us today. So, but Galena, that is a good point, though. Usually somebody wants the car and there's a hit put out on the car. Look, I'm looking for this type of car. And as soon as it's stolen, it's hitting the chop shop and it is gone. So the fact that they were able to recover the vehicle, you are absolutely correct, my friend. That is amazing that they were able to recover the vehicle.
Well, isn't that how they found the chop shop, was because of a tracking device on one of the vehicles?
Oh, is that what it said in one of the articles? I didn't see that. I was looking for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then she was found
Ah.
out. So it was like this whole thing. It had to do with the stolen vehicle. They tracked it back to the chop shop. Then that's how they caught her. Is it had like, it's not like somebody's going, oh, my stolen VIN number's out here. No, she probably would have kept doing it if it wouldn't have been for that one tracking device on one of the stolen vehicles.
Wow. All right, so look, here's what the G-Wagon, the G55 looks like. There's your G55.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mm.
So again, $3.3 million in vehicles stolen. The person arrested for helping to facilitate the crime was paid less than $20,000 and lost her job. I don't think this was worth it.
Mm-mm.
You know what would be real cool is if, the Department of Motor Vehicles down there in South Florida, if they listened to our show and they actually heard the suggestions that we made in order to strengthen the process so that they can prevent and or detect some of this from happening in the future. Because yeah, you're right. it wasn't even caught based on simple things that they could have done in their system to stop it and or detect it.
Right, right. They didn't have the checks in place or
Mhm.
control in place. So it came out from the police actually getting to the individual in the chop shop, right? Finding the car, tracking it down, getting to the owner of the chop shop, who then proceeded and telling them, oh, yeah, this is how we did it. And, okay.
Well, and how did they connect? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did they know each other? Did she know somebody that worked at the chop shop? Like, how do you find somebody that's an agent working for the DMV to help you in this and approach it that way?
What is it that they're saying you guys have, where there is a will, there is a way?
I mean, were they all just happen to be at the same party on a Saturday afternoon and they got talking about jobs and going, "Hey, I have an amazing job opportunity for you."
Or
It's that
or
job.
or it could be that two people are dating and
Mhm.
he specifically sent his girlfriend to apply for the job for the purposes of
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I think
I,
that's the thing that makes me wonder about that. How did they get
I
connected?
still I still wonder what the salary was on the job though, because I- it seemed like such a small amount that she was paid per vehicle.
Yeah.
Um, when you consider, so picture this: $500,000 vehicle, and I get it, your chop shop is an entire operation, but let's just say that's what you're going to clear after you sell it to someone else, because the people who bought these vehicles, from what I read, did not know that they were stolen. Or the people
Mm,
who they were trying to sell them to, sorry, did not know that they were stolen. So it's not
right.
like they were stealing vehicles for someone who knew that they were stolen.
Hmm.
So I'm imagining you're still selling it at the retail price, you know, at the dealer price. So $500,000 vehicle or a $200,000 vehicle, by the time you divvy up the profits, I would be mad if I were her, knowing that I only got $800 of,
Yeah.
and her role was probably one of the more important roles in the scheme too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. Yes.
So, an entry level title clerk position at an auto tag agency is $14 an hour. But if you get a tag and title clerk position at a tag agency, it's anywhere from 35 to 55,000 a year.
Okay, so
So she added about half of that to her salary in a year. About that.
yeah,
What is that?
yeah.
So anywhere from
And Marsha
14
said she
to
didn't know
26.
her worth.
Oh, yeah. So anywhere from what, 14 to $26 an hour?
Wow.
Yeah,
With access to that kind of information?
yep.
Interesting. All
Very
right.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. To all of that information, right? Going back to your point about segregation of duties, right?
Right.
Crazy.
Well, and it falls right in line with the stories we've been doing since the middle of the pandemic, where the government was giving out PPP loans without segregation of duties, without adequate checks, without due diligence, and this is the same kind of theme
Yeah.
repeated, and
Yeah.
it's a very simple check.
You know, it's interesting. Like in my previous experience when I was an internal auditor doing just a lot of fraud investigations, you were always playing a catch up on the fraudsters because they were a step or two steps ahead of you. And so I remember us gathering at one point and we said, we need to log the gift cards. And management was like, no, 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 we want the gift cards out there, we want them, out so people can see and purchase them, etc. Where we explained what was happening with those gift cards that were sitting out. I mean, it was like a big scheme where servers would get the cards, and either try to resell them or return them, and the customer say, oh, I have no balance, etc. So I mean, like, it was, I don't exactly remember, but what happened. But in this case, it's like maybe the DMV just doesn't think, because they don't think like criminals. So to them, giving the access to information that they feel is harmless, right? They may not even think, oh, what is she gonna do, what's she gonna use with this information, what is she gonna do, etc. So again, educating about what can happen, or what has happened, is usually a good exercise, on this kind of things. But we're always a step behind, unfortunately.
I mean, in all
All right.
actuality, if we were a step ahead, we probably wouldn't have jobs.
True. Very true. So, friends, if you have just joined us, go back and listen from the beginning. Today, we were talking about a young lady who, well, had a role in at least 18 car thefts, and her role was actually trying to legitimize the vehicle identification numbers on the vehicles. She worked for a state agency that provided tags and titles and things like that. And she fraudulently created some titles for vehicles so that they could get tags. They're saying that the vehicles were worth a total of about $3.3 million. And there were approximately 18 of them. And for her take, she got less than $20,000. But she also got 18 counts. She was also charged with 18 counts of, what did I say her charges were again? Title fraud and official misconduct. And this was in Miami-Dade County.
Yeah. Like you guys said, I think I calculated, her return was 0.3%.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, if you're just joining us, you missed a very good episode. Go back to the beginning. Start all over again. Just go ahead and listen. You know you want to listen to us anyway. So with that said, Christine, Galena, any parting words for our friends?
Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, enjoy the weekend. I know we're going to be cleaning stuff up here. The debris and everything else. So yeah.
Well, personally, I'm going to take a nap. I just came back from Tucson and Phoenix. A whole week of doing training. So I'm beat. Literally, I just got back right before hopping on here with my lovely Friday Fraudster friends. So we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us.
See you later.